Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Double tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man who is inside. Fullback, you tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one shows. Go right by them and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. If you want to email the show, you can send a message to PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. And you can text the show. Let's see if I can remember the number. 865-658-5824. So, we got a special guest on with us tonight. We've got Emilio in Tennessee rocking the sombrero. Guys, listen, we're trying to get all the good juju out there that we can. We want Aaron Jones back tomorrow. So he broke out the cheesehead sombrero, and we need him live in Green Bay. Emilio, how you doing, man?
I'm great. We need Aaron Jones back. We need that spark.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, if Aaron Jones shows up the Mile High tomorrow, gets about 15 carries, I'm gonna be over the moon. How about you?
I'll take it. Absolutely, and a couple of catches too. Let's get him involved in that short pass game a little bit too.
Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. For those of you wondering, Jacob is okay. He's just out running the roads tonight. He said he had some business to take care of, but you know what I think it comes down to.
Hi, I'm Date Mike. Nice to meet me. How do you like your eggs in the morning?
Oh, man.
I think that's what's really going on tonight.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He may join us here in a little bit. We'll see. But I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I was in here chatting with them 30 minutes before the show started. We got Garrett in the house. Let's see here. Actually missed his first comment. We'll have to get back to that. I'll star that one. We got Cheesehead Murph. We got Omer. Omer's always in here, man. Always early, too. Let's see who else we got. A little roll call. We got to go down there having a full-blown conversation. We got Jeff in the house. We got Swerve. All right, Swerve. Sam H in the house. And, so we'll kind of hit on some of the comments here in a minute. We're going to talk about the Eric Stokes news, which I think is kind of the headline today, especially with Jair's injury and his health kind of being up in the air. We're also going to hit on a little article that Emilio uncovered by Wisconsin Sports Heroics, where the Denver Broncos are kind of hinting around that they might take a few shots at Jordan Love, try to get him out of the game if he decides to scramble. So I don't know about you, Tim, but when I just hear that on the surface, and again, we'll get into the article here in a minute. When I hear that on the surface, the way Jordan, lowered that shoulder early in the season, said we needed some juice, I think he might try to do that again. I hope he doesn't.
And you know what? I'm with you, and I hope that's exactly how he responds to that. The first time he scrambles, the hell with sliding, man. Yeah. If they're gonna bring it, you bring it. You know what? Brett Favre would bring it. Brett Favre will lower that shoulder and pop right back up and tell you try again next time, buddy. So let's see. I bet you Jordan's going to bring that fire. I'm sure he'll play it smart and safe and slide when necessary, but I'd love to see the juice too, man. We definitely could use it coming out of the bye. So
we need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's go to the chat real quick. Of course, Cheesehead Murph giving Emilio a shout out, man. Just so you guys know, Emilio down here in Tennessee, close to where I'm at. We've never met. He listened to the pod. We kind of communicated through the text line, and he's going to be on here, every so often when we need somebody to fill in if he's available. And excited about adding him to the mix here, man. You got great takes. And let me ask you this, man. I was at a Cherokee high school football game last night. How did Alcoa and Maryville come out? Didn't they play last night? Am I thinking right?
24-21. Maryville won it.
Nice. Oh,
yeah, you could hear it humming down the street. It was that stadium, man. It's pretty wild compared to the stadium I had in school. It was nothing compared to that.
Right. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, in Tennessee, those are two schools that are just south of Knoxville where UT plays. And, for as long as I can remember, they're two of the better high school football teams in the state. And where was it that Randall Cobb played?
Alcoa.
Right.
Yep.
So, Good stuff, man. I love high school football. Hate to see it come to an end, but at the same time, that means we'll be free on Friday nights to talk some more Packer football. So it's all good, man, for sure. All right, let's do this, man. Let's just kind of let's check in with the chat real quick. Let's see here. We got Chris in the chat say, guys, check out AJ McCarthy. Should be on the Packers' radar. Completely agree. Having a pretty good season there in college. Let's see what else we got. Matthew in the chat says, I think the Packers will come back in this game. Was going to kick some
behind.
There you go. Way to clean it up. All right. And Omer in the chat said, they finally realizing how important Aaron Jones is to this team and offense, man. It's so true. And I'm trying to curb the enthusiasm a little bit because I can't ever remember a time in Packers history where I'm like, man, a running back is that important. But it's just a different offense when he's on the field, man. There's no doubt about that.
Kind of like San Fran and Christian McCaffrey, you know what I mean? Like when he's where's that spark? They have Kittle, they still have the offense, but they're missing something.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, man. When he left the game the other day, that offense it came to a screeching halt. It really did.
Right.
And, again, that's where it's kind of where I'm I don't want to be a Goody hater, but you've also got to point out that, man, there's some GMs out there that's kind of boat racing Goody, you know. And I know the Packer way, draft, develop, I got you. But, when you talk about being able to land somebody like Christian McCaffrey, those are the type of running backs that you're willing to pay top dollar to because you're going to get, production out of both the running game and the passing game. And Christian McCaffrey could play wide receiver in this league. There's no doubt about it. He's just that good. So, so let's see here. I like his cheesehead Murph noticing it, Tim. He says, what up, Tim? That background getting full each time I see you on the pod. Yes, sir. Yes,
I got some good birthday gifts this year, so it just
nice.
I lucked out, you know. So,
yeah,
but
man.
I'm gonna add some more. We'll keep some stuff up there. Try and get up on Clayton's level there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, man, I've got a bunch of stuff sitting over here, which I want to remind you guys, all you YouTube members of the PTA Posse, we're going to be giving away an autographed Paul Hornung jersey tomorrow night on the postgame show. We're going to spin the wheel. So for everyone by midnight tonight who is a member of a YouTube member of our channel, you're going to be put into that contest, okay, and entered into that. So make sure if that's something you're interested in to get that taken care of tonight. And it's cool because United Bates gifted memberships to half of Brown County, right?
Yeah.
So that, before I think we had something like 125 names on the wheel, right? Well, now it's dwindled down way far. So you've got a better chance of actually winning that jersey. So I'm excited about giving that away. And again, it's just a way for us to give back to all you guys who are supporting the channel, the stream, and all that good stuff. So, with that being said, let's do it. Let's jump into some news here, man. We got some good news today with Eric Stokes, as you guys may have heard. I know it was about midday today that you guys started firing my phone up, and I'm hearing Eric Stokes is activated, which is really, really exciting. Tim, you got to see him in training camp practice, right? There on the sideline and stuff. And I was surprised at how much you were talking about him moving around at that point. I think some of us were like, I don't expect him to be kind of out there running, but I mean, he was darn near 100% as far as what he was participating in at that time. Right.
I mean, I was just telling my wife this story this morning over coffee that the first day of public practice, opening day at camp, I saw him foot racing with like a 5-year-old on a bicycle while they were doing the bike ride. And I literally hollered out. I was like, well, I was going to ask how your foot was doing, but clearly you're good. And he kind of just nodded and smiled and was like, yeah, I'm good. And then, of course, we watched an entire training camp of just rehab work. But it's the reason why we're at the point we're at now. They had to make this decision. We knew they weren't gonna send him down. We knew he was going to be activated. We just didn't want to speculate. But yeah, throughout the entire preseason and training camp program, the thing I noticed the most is, regardless of the fact that he wasn't getting those reps with the first and second team, doing actual, like the team drills and exercises or any live action, he was always engaged. So if they were putting in sets, if they were making adjustments, he would stop rehab, make sure he was engaged. They would go run the play, whatever. And then he'd kind of keep an eye on it as he was doing his PT. So I'm excited to see him back. Clayton, you talked about him kind of being a bit underwhelming even before the injury. And I think if you look at some of the comments he had today about being grateful for this opportunity after nearly a year of, this battle back from this, two crucial injuries like this, I wouldn't be surprised, man, if he pops. So I'll tell you this. I think he's going to go hard. They're going to probably keep him limited snap count, but I bet you we're going to get 100% out of the tank from Stokes with every snap he gets this week.
Yeah, I completely agree. And let's do this. Let's kind of dive into a little bit of a Paul Brettel article. I believe this is on Dairyland Express. So you guys, if you're not following Paul Brettel, he's one of my favorite Packers insider. He's on this show once a week, usually on Thursdays, sometimes Wednesdays. Follow him at Paul_Brettel. He is awesome with the work he does at Packers Wire as well as Dairyland Express. But here's a little clip from his article today. Make sure you go follow him. Make sure you click on the link. Give him credit for this stuff because we really appreciate the work he puts in. But this is what he said about Stokes. He said, Stokes will return to the Packers lineup with some uncertainty around Jair Alexander's status for Sunday's game in Denver. Alexander was a late addition to the injury report this week with a back injury. He did not participate in Friday's practice. However, if Alexander can't go, that doesn't mean Stokes is going to be thrust back into the starting lineup either. Quote, We'll acclimate him back in there, I would say carefully, said Matt LaFleur earlier in the week. Quote, it's not going to be like you go from not playing for over a year to you're playing every snap in a game. So you'll have a plan for that. We'll have a plan for that. We do have a plan for that. When Alexander was out in weeks 3 and 4 against Detroit, we saw Carrington Valentine and Corey Ballantyne both operate on the boundary across from Rasul Douglas. The Packers seem to prefer Ballantyne over Valentine during potential running situations. Perhaps Stokes could see some snaps when the offense is in obvious passing situations, similar to how Rashawn Gary was acclimated back at the edge rusher position. Once Stokes is able to be back on a normal pitch count, how the Packers navigate playing time at the cornerback position is a bit of an unknown. I go into greater detail here, and he's got a link that you guys can click on where he goes into, like I said, a little more detail on that topic. But in short, I would guess that when in their base nickel defense, we will still see Douglas, Alexander, and Keyshawn Nixon on the field. When in nickel on obvious passing downs, Stokes could step in and also be out there in dime situations as well. And that's what we kind of talked about earlier in the week, Emilio, is it makes a lot of sense to have him play dime back, right? And then like Paul, of course, like he always does, he peels a layer back and says, hey, look, what about an obvious passing situations? Meaning when you're in the nickel and it's 3rd and 8, right? Let's take Stokes out there. And if anything, I think it will help some of the younger guys, Valentine and Ballantyne. And it's the most confusing roster in the history of Packers. Like, it's unbelievable. You got Valentine and Ballantyne. You've got 2 Anthony Johnsons. You've got 2 Jonathan Fords, one of which goes by Rudy.
Like, you got 2 Walker.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. Like I was telling the guys in the chat, they keep me more confused than a fart in a fan factory, dude. It's ongoing constantly. But I'm horrible with names anyway. Anyway, Emilio, what do you think about that idea and what Paul said about, maybe putting Stokes out there in obvious passing situations? What do you think the snap count will be as far as percentage of defensive snaps that you think Stokes might play?
I think it might put him at 10-15% of the snaps. I don't think they're going to push it like they did with Rashawn. He went 8 snaps, then maybe 10, 15, 20. They're still babying him in. So, I really think that hopefully it is those passing situations, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12. We get that. That's where our defense wants to be anyway. That's where, our leading pass rush is there. And maybe, like you were saying, it'll help the young guys. He knows the defense. He went down with a tough injury, but hopefully his experience will help the team in those kind of, fast situations.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And some people, like you pointed out just a second ago, Tim, you were like, he was kind of mediocre before he got hurt. Let's just kind of look at his grades real quick. I'm going to read them off to you just so you can understand where I'm coming from when I say that. And again, this to me was backed up with the tape, right? The thing that caught me off guard about Stokes early in 2022 before he got hurt was when we were in that cover 1 man, and it's supposed to be what he does well, right? With his athleticism, his play man coverage really well. It's just like he lacked the awareness to find the ball, right? There were so many times that he didn't turn his head to play the ball. He just kind of played the receiver, and and just looked really, really off balance. You've seen him get frustrated in training camp last year when Romeo Dobbs was absolutely cooking him over the top. But in 2021, this is why we had so much hope for Eric Stokes. In his rookie year, his PFF grade was 66.3. Okay. His tackle grade, 64.3, coverage grade, 67.6, which is actually a really good grade for a rookie defender, right? A rookie player in general. Typically, if you grade out in the 60s and more specifically 65 plus in PFF, it's a good indicator that they're going to be a solid pro moving forward. You're going to see them kind of elevate fairly quick. At least that's what history dictates. But in 2022, he came out, and before he got hurt, his PFF grade was a 53.7, coverage grade 60.3. So you've seen it dip. Run defense grade went from a 52.2 all the way down to a 33.8. Definitely took a step back. And some people were like, well, he didn't play that many snaps. It's a small sample size. He actually played 477 snaps in 2022. And again, I'm not trying to rain on the parade. I'm as excited as anyone that Eric Stokes is coming back. But if you see it, you got to say it, right? And the thing that I noticed last year was it seemed like the defense got better after he left the game, right? After he, got put on IR. Now, like Ryan pointed out, that, maybe his grade was a reflection of the whole defense was just a mess. That could definitely be the case, right? We're not in the meeting rooms. We don't know exactly what they're trying to play, as far as, which kind of cover three, which kind of quarters coverage they're running. In man coverage, you don't know what they were taught. Hey, look, they're going to try to hit the fade out of this formation. So just play the receiver. Don't look for the ball back. There may have been some things like that came into play. So a lot to really take in. But I'm with you, Emilio. I think we're probably going to see a very, very light dose of Eric Stokes. But how cool would it be if he did come back and play 15, 20 snaps and somehow got a pick and made a big play? You know what I mean? That's how you want to kind of kick off this third year.
Definitely.
For sure.
He said it in the offseason. He's been itching. I mean, if you have a year to sit back and watch all 400 snaps that you played and you see yourself and you're just disappointed in it, I mean, that's something that's got to get, he wants to adjust that. He wants to make it better. He's been dying to get back out there.
Yeah, no doubt. Tim, what do you think as far as Eric Stokes? Anything else you want to add before we move on, Bo?
I think just in closing, while we're talking about the negative, he's a walking splash play too. Like you can look at some of that tape and see some PBUs and clutch moments and, things that we need. So, that wouldn't surprise me, even if he's on limited action, if he goes in there and makes a play. And that's okay. That's where it needs to start. But I agree with Emilio's point, man. I mean, he was watching film.
Right.
You know it. And that's all you can do when you can't walk. I mean, let's talk about the fact that the man couldn't even walk, was literally in a wheelchair. And, you gain a lot of different perspective when you go through something like that and come out on the other side, walking and running. And now here we are, you're back on the 53. I agree, 10 to 15% at most probably of the game, if that. But as we build here, you never know, man. If anyone's going to be a comeback player of the year type candidate, it could be a guy like Eric Stokes Jr. for sure. So
yeah, no, I completely agree. Definitely the prime candidate for the Packers comeback player of the year, no doubt about it. Mike Hebring, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. He said Rashid's still 18th ranked in pass blocking. I don't know what the can't RB is. Oh, can't run block. Gotcha. Yeah. And again, this is what I was trying to say and thank you so much for the super chat, Mike. And again, Rashid, 18th ranked pass blocker. That's nothing to shake a stick at. That's pretty solid, right? When you talk about run blocking, it's hard for me to judge this offensive line on run blocking right now when I turn on the tape and see exactly what they're trying to ask these offensive linemen to do. It's you get a little bit of momentum with inside zone and split flow and a little duo, and then you just roll out the circus music, right? And it's all right, 2 pulling guards, triple, 2 sifts, 13 personnel, double sift on Max Crosby. Oh, by the way, let's have Tay Wicks block a 285-pound defensive end. Like I'm going, hold up. Everybody slow down a minute. I'm definitely in the camp of this needs to be simplified. Now, there's one thing that I want people to understand as far as my opinion, okay? When you look, when I'm down on Matt LaFleur and I'm saying, hey, look, he's not putting his players in a position to win, that's what I'm specifically referring to is the run blocking and the run blocking schemes and how they're trying to attack the running game. When it comes to the passing game, totally different ball game. He's scheming receivers open. The T lead swing, right? or the lead T swing, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
There's several other concepts they've used, with the dagger approach. Of course, they ran their strike concept the other night. They got Christian Watson open. There's receivers open. That on that side on offense and that end on passing, what I would put the most blame on is Jordan Love. Jordan Love has not played up to par, right? Started strong. These last two games were just absolute cheeks. There's no two ways about it. Now, when you go to the running game, and granted, his receivers haven't, went out of their way to help him either. I mean, there's enough blame to go around. But as far as the passing game itself, I think Matt LaFleur's calling a good game. The running game is where we got hold up. Let's simplify this a little bit. Let's get back to what we do well. And again, Mike Wall was the one who pointed it out to me. Go watch the tape. Bam, it's right there on tape. So definitely something to keep an eye on for sure. But again, Mike, thank you so much for the super chat. Agree with Rashid. If he can become a better run blocker, you might have something there. Right now, I think the jury's still out, and especially like Omer pointed out in the chat, he's doing well for a 7th round pick with no snaps in 2022. That's what's wild, Tim, is he come out of the woodwork, right? And just he's passed Yash up. What happened?
Right.
I don't know if that speaks more to Sheed or Yash on the regression. Maybe I'm not sure. But I can tell you, man. First and foremost, protect the blind side of our quarterback. So the fact that he can do that halfway decent is a good start. And the run blocking will come with more reps. And I think certainly, hey, it's the best foot forward we've got right now at that spot on this line. So I'm rooting for Sheed all day to improve.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's jump into this next topic here real quick. Emilio, you pointed this out to us offline that Wisconsin Sports Heroics actually wrote an article on the Broncos and some comments they made. Do you want me to read the clip of the article I got, or do you want to read what you got right there?
I can just read it right here.
Cool. Go ahead and hit it. I'm going to put this up on screen too, so they'll have a reference for another part. But you go ahead and dive right into it, guys. Again, this is some stuff that broke earlier. Wisconsin Sports Heroics actually put this article out, and it's very interesting. It really is. Part of me being the if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying type guy.
Right.
At first I wanted to shoo it a little bit, but then as we got deeper into the article, I'm going, oh, there might be something here. Oh, by the way, who is their head coach? Which I'm sure Emilio will hit on that, but go right ahead, Emilio.
So I think it was Robin Adams there. So from Mike Purcell, a veteran defensive tackle with Denver, said to Broncos reporters, a quarterback that doesn't want to slide, then it's per se, obviously within reason, you make him want to pay the price. So you take your shot when you can. That's his choice. Obviously, our job is to stop them. And if he doesn't want to slide and give us a chance to take a shot, we're going to take a shot. And that's, kind of going back to when Matt was telling them about getting down when you have the chance. Mm-hmm. And then from defensive coordinator from the Broncos, Matt Henningsen, he added, being a young quarterback, he's got fresh legs under him and he can run the ball. He scrambles. He doesn't like to slide. So he can take a hit. It's something that we definitely got to neutralize. If he doesn't give himself up, we got to stop him. Just bring him to the ground and give him a hit. And maybe next time he'll slide. You're obviously not hunting for him, but you treat quarterbacks that don't slide like a running back. That's what they are. If they're not sliding and if it's not protecting themselves, they don't get that protection. Usually young quarterbacks don't slide as much, and then they get older, then they start to slide more. That's just how it goes because you can't take that many shots and stick around in this league. And like Clayton was saying down there at the end there, again, there's a difference between hurting the quarterback and injuring him. But of course, head coach Sean Payton knows everything about that, right? The former New Orleans Saints head coach was suspended by the NFL for a full season for the infamous Bounty Gate scandal in which his defense was headhunting quarterbacks looking to injure them.
Well, I'm just wondering if Sean Payton heard his defensive coordinator say that and he's going, shut up. What did you think about that, Tim? Is it fair game? Hey, if a quarterback's not willing to slide, light them up. Because here's the other thing, too, a little reverse psychology for you guys. I immediately thought, okay, two can play at that game. But then I was like, you kind of get the vibe that nobody likes Russell Wilson, so maybe they're trying to get us to hit Russell Wilson. I don't know. What do you think, Tim?
I think it is. I mean, look at the rules, man. You're out of the pocket. You're a free runner. You tuck it. You want to be Michael Vick. Well, okay. You're going to get blown up. That's the risk you take. It's a grown man's game. It's at the highest level that we play. And I think it's there's a fine line between dirty play and aggressive play and playing hard. I don't think anything in this article suggests targeting or Bounty Gate 2023 or anything like that. I do think it's just, little gamesmanship. Probably trying to do a little talking since they haven't done it with their play very much this year. Maybe trying to psych guys out, or maybe it's reverse psychology. Maybe they're trying to play to what I had said at the top of the show. Like maybe they want Jordan to run. Maybe they figure if Jordan's running in space, then he's not beating them with his arm. Either way, I don't think there's anything dirty here. I would tell our defense the same thing. Like Justin Fields, we played the Bears in week 1. I'm sure that was the MO. If he wants to run, then go knock him on his keister. Right. Like it's football. So as long as it's not targeting, dirty, after the play, extra stuff. The old what was that? Few years back when Sue stepped on somebody's ankle or something. Like that's dirty. That's dirty play. Yeah. That kind of stuff is extra and that's dirty. There's no place for it. But playing hard-nosed football, I'm all for it. I'm a defensive dude, and I want to protect our quarterback as much as anyone else. But we know the rules, man. When you're out and running, man, it's fair game. So I don't really have a problem with anything. It is interesting given Sean Payton's history. I almost think that if it was serious and it was dirty, if it was targeting, we wouldn't hear any comments at all, kind of like Clayton alluded to. So the fact that they're just kind of putting this out there tells me that it's kind of tongue in cheek, maybe just a little gamesmanship.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think, Emilio? This caught your eye. So this article, how do you feel about it, man?
I mean, look, trust me, I absolutely love to hit people. I mean, that was the highlight of it, but it's got to happen between the whistles. I've gotten my share, fair share of flags, but I think it was more kind of a heads up to J Love. If you're going to do it, think about it. But I mean, he's 18 rushes for 109 and 2 touchdowns this year. So it's not like he's running all the time. I mean, he's at a handful a game. But it like they said, it is different from trying to hurt, not trying to injure him, but they want him to wake up with a bruise or two, and as long as he uses his head, gets down, get it out of your hands, get it into the playmaker's hands, unless we need something, or unless, we're doing the tush push or something, we don't know. I don't know if we need to run outside the tackles too often, unless you're just kind of extending the play. But again, it's their defense isn't great. I think it's their worst start in franchise history, dating back to 1964. So, and the only other thing I had was Wilson was 5-16 since he's gotten to Denver.
Wow.
So we've got to try,
Yeah, and it's crazy because you got a quarterback that really he came in the league, he beat out Matt Flynn for the starting quarterback spot in Seattle, and all he's seen was success. And then you go to the absolute dumpster fire out there in Denver, and it's just ever since he did the video, let's ride Broncos country, let's ride. Everything has just went straight downhill. There's no doubt about it. But as far as Jordan Love scrambling, if it's there, take it. I'm saying get down. As much as I would love to see him, run someone over, right, just to prove a point. At the same time, get down, live to play for another down. And what I'm more concerned about is let's get that completion percentage somewhere up there around
65%.
65%. That's what
there it is.
Yeah. Jacob ain't here to scold me. Emilio, he just constantly you can tell he doesn't like it. And he wants me to stop playing 65%. This is my message to him.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
The way it is, the way it is. But what were you gonna say, Emilio? Did you have something?
No, that's right. I said I could beat Jacob if I needed to. Man, why are we playing that?
You gotta stick your lips out though. People were commenting on his lips on that last one, man.
Oh yeah.
Jake, I don't think it's any coincidence that the episode after people were commenting on Jacob's good looks, he's not here. Right. So I think Date Mike was activated. I'm just saying. But we gotta say super chat here. Miles in the chat says contribution for Clayton's cheese sombrero. Y'all want to see me with a cheese sombrero?
I love it.
Emilio looks like a natural with a sombrero, man. You got the narrow face. I've got a pumpkin head, man. Like Mandy said, I look my baby pictures. I look like a tadpole. But if I put one of those things on, I'm telling you, it'll be sitting right on the top right. So we'd have to get an extra large, no doubt about it. Let's see what Mike says. Mike Hebring, and again, Boz, thank you so much, buddy. You're constantly contributing to the stream. We really appreciate it, man. Sure. We don't take it lightly, and I think I may do that just for you. I may get I might get a real sombrero, have a poncho.
Ooh, there we go.
I ain't maybe grow a handlebar mustache. No, I can't do that. I can't pull the mustache off, boys. Justin with Packernet Podcast graphics, he's got the cleanest mustache. I grow a mustache. I'm not allowed within 100 feet of a school. I guarantee it. I look so creepy. It's not even funny, man. Not even funny. Mike Hebring, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, prediction: Broncos running game gets on track. You want to get kicked out of here, Mike? Are you serious right now? Come on now. What the hell's going on out here? You can't be having that, man. Now, I mean, listen, if there was ever a game that they were going to get on track, this might be it. Let's just hope we can get up by a couple scores, right? Because yeah. And the thing is, too, Russell Wilson isn't playing that bad. Tim, like, no. When you go watch the tape, you look at the statistics, compare Russell Wilson's statistics to Patrick Mahomes this year. Mm-hmm. It's pretty darn comparable. Granted, Patrick Mahomes is having kind of a down year, but you don't hear about it, right? When it comes to Russell Wilson, though, they got a magnifying glass on that guy right now, don't they?
Yeah, well, that goes back to, like you said, the initial trip to Denver. He kind of opened the door for a lot of what he got from people. So, it is what it is. Anytime you get the prima donna factor where, your quarterback's got an office and, all the stuff that came out about the special treatment and everything that didn't do old Russ any favors. Yeah. And the stats prove exactly what they always do, which is they're great metrics to look at the game, but they can be deceiving because he's on a booty football team that has one win. And, he may have better numbers than a lot of other quarterbacks, but there's probably a lot of quarterbacks with lower numbers that have more wins right now and are actually playing for contenders. So, but again, I said this a couple of days ago, we have to respect him. The guy's a Super Bowl champion. There are a lot of worse quarterbacks in the NFL, for sure. So you gotta take that seriously, man. You're facing, obviously he's on the downswing of his career, but he's, still, I don't know if he's a for sure first ballot Hall of Fame dude, but he's a top tier, bottom of the top tier quarterback that needs to be respected. So, and yeah, he hasn't been playing bad lately. So our defense needs to bring it, man. And I hope Mike's wrong. I hope our front shows up. We get some more good middle linebacking play and some good edge rushing. Hopefully, Russ doesn't have a good game. Hopefully Jay Money plays better than him. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Mike Hebring in the chat. Again, thank you for the super chat, Mike. He followed up with saying they haven't been able to stick with the running game due to the defense being so bad, but been very effective when they have been able to stick with it. Packers offense better stay on the field. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, too. You get an early lead. That's how you get them out of that running game, right? And that's definitely been the case all year long. I don't think they have a bad running game. It's just, when you're playing from behind like they are, in some cases – giving up 70 points. I mean, that's just still blows my mind. And you guys remind me, the Bears ended up losing to the Broncos, right? Am I thinking right? What did the Broncos come back and beat the Bears? Is that how you remember it, Tim?
Yeah, I believe that's their only win. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. The Bears. Yeah. It should be interesting. Of course, we beat the Bears pretty handily, but like we always say, the old cliche, any given Sunday, right? Anything can happen. But what do you think? Yeah, you're pretty deep into the running game, Emilio, just the conversations that we've had offline. What do you think? Do you think we need to worry about the Broncos? You don't have to, know the details of the Broncos run game, but just in general, what do you think about that? Do you think we'll have any problems there? Maybe how should we play it? What do you see?
Yeah, well, I was looking, I was trying to dig around a little bit on the Broncos stuff. I saw a couple keys that they were talking about. One of them was just let Russ cook. So that's one of their game plans. But with their running game, that is where they're kind of putting their weight in. Their offense isn't terrible. Their defense is just so bad. But again, that's where we want to be. If we can get into third and long, if we can get a touchdown or two up, that's where our defense eats. That's where Eric Stokes could get a couple more plays. That's where we want to be. But I don't think we need to worry about it. But I hope Joe Barry being up in the booth, he is seeing something. If it starts to get out of hand, let's make a change a little bit quicker. Let's get TJ Slayton in there. Let's switch it up a little bit. Maybe put all the edge rushers in, have them hold a gap, something like that. NASCAR package. Just got to think outside the box, especially coming out of a bye week. Like you were saying, Eric Stokes played bad before the bye week last year. Our defense came out and stepped up after the bye week this past year. So maybe that same sort of thing comes and happens this time. But again, they just got to show up and play, really. And the only other key I saw that they were talking about was they were looking to limit Musgrave, or at least the rookie tight ends, because the Broncos let up 9 catches for 124 to Kelsey against the Chiefs. And with Musgrave, he has been in 5 games, 4 starts, 18 catches for 159 and 5 first downs with a 78.3% catch rate. But again, he hasn't scored any touchdowns, and he's 3rd on Green Bay for targets with 23. So not having him is a problem. And I think Jay Love's going to want to look to him. He loves looking across the middle. Let's maybe just have his head up a little more often, maybe not as many naked boots. Some quick hitters, something like that. Get the ball in their hands and let's get it. Let's spread it out. Short passes with a weak arm. Let's use the West Coast scheme there.
Dude, that's me. I want to see them spread it out to 11 and staying in it consistently. I was going to try to pull up actually their team ratings real quick here. I think I've got it. Yeah. So let's just sort the league by overall and see where the Broncos overall are. Overall, they're 30th in the league. Okay. When you sort it by offense, they now climb up to 19th. So they've actually got, according to PFF, okay, they're 19th in the league in offense. The Packers are 22nd. So they're showing that they have a little bit better offense than us as far as passing grade. Let's see, the Denver Broncos, pretty high here. 16th. And, of course, we're in the 23 spot. Let's go to that running game we talked about. Let's just talk about the running back grades themselves, okay? 74.5 is their running grade. That's 15th best in the league. Ours is 72.4, which is 19th. Now, you got to couple that with run blocking, of course. And we look at run blocking, they're 16th in the league at 63.0. Of course, Green Bay, that's been their weak spot at 26. So going to be interesting to see how that plays out. As far as our running game, let's see what their run defense is grading out at. 30th. Their run defense is 30th. So got us a pretty good shot there, I think. As far as coverage, it's wild the Packers are a top 10 cover team. It's just got to get people out of that run for sure. Denver Broncos cover grade, guys, on the season. Tim, it's 45.5, bro. 45. It just feels like you see that and you think, let's come out and throw the freaking ball. Mm-hmm. But as soon as they come out and throw the ball, Tim, we're going to be going, why ain't we running the damn ball? So this is going to be interesting to see how Matt LaFleur handles it, right? I mean, do you come out, do you start winging it all over the yard, or do you, kind of run a balanced attack? Hopefully it's pretty balanced, right?
I'd want to be as close to that 50% kind of look. And, a lot of that comes down to not just being balanced, but knowing the right time to call these things, Yeah. We talked about a lot of passing on first down, mixing a run on first down for the love of God. Just to keep that, if it's a bad defense, especially against the pass, if you have a decent enough running attack that they have to respect that, you're going to put them behind the 8 ball even more. And you'll see those play action shots. We'll see those looks, get those preferable matchups for us. And yeah, my gut's telling me the same thing. Dobbs and Watson, man, let's go off. Sprinkle in a little Jaden Reed and some Tay Wicks in there too. Yeah. And let's have a day. Spread the ball around. How about 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns for Jay Love, and they're all the different guys. That would be great. Right. I think that's going to be huge. And then defensively, I agree with what Emilio said. Joe Barry's got to make the adjustment quicker. I feel like this year he is. Last year we complained that he wasn't adjusting, and it's like this year he has. He adjusted before the season. Now we're trying to get him to adjust quicker during these games, and I think that's going to be a telltale sign. Yeah, NASCAR package. Give me the beefcake package. Whatever the big dog package.
in there.
Load up when we need to, and let's try and impose our will defensively on an offense that's struggling too. So this is going to be an interesting game on so many levels. It's going to be real hard to predict a score. That's why I'm just going to say, I'm taking the Packers with the dub, but I'd like to say it would be a blowout. It should be a blowout, but we should have beat Atlanta this year. We should have beat the Raiders this year. So there was a lot of should haves. I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow, right?
Yeah, definitely. And as far as the point spread, there's some places that have it -1.5 for Green Bay, and other places that have it just -1. Okay, so the Packers are, depending on where you look, 1 or 1.5 point favorites. You were mentioning, getting that run to pass ratio at 50% or as close to it as you can, Tim. When you break that aspect down, according to PFF, the Denver Broncos run the ball 33.6% of the time, so they're passing 66.4% of the time. To compare that to the Packers, again, the Broncos 66.4% pass, the Packers are 63.8% pass, 36.2% run. So yeah, we gotta establish that run early and try to stick with it. Again, simplify it, man. I would love a game where all we call this game, guys, is inside and outside zone.
Yep.
And you know what? If they're showing a wide front, if they're bringing those wide nines out there, maybe mixing a little duo, a little vertical power, but nothing horizontal, man. Let's run the ball down their throat, try to establish it earlier for sure.
When you see those numbers like that, that's indicative of what you guys just talked about. Teams that are behind the 8 ball and they have to play from behind. So you're going to have to throw the ball. I mean, look at how that Raiders game ended. You just have to start chucking the ball. It is what it is. So if you can get that run game going early and throw when you want to rather than being forced to, I mean, that's the worst thing for an offense, man. Your defense, the opposing defense knows you're going to throw. Everyone in the world knows you're going to throw. It's kind of hard to scheme into that. You're going right into the teeth of a defense like that. So the run game is absolutely crucial.
Definitely. And the over-under in this game is 45 points. And PFF has it as a one, like they do it as far as value of a bet. They have 3 bars that they could potentially fill up. And they've got what they recommend you do, right? And then as far as the betting odds, and then they'll kind of give you the probability. They're saying under, and they've got one of the 3 bars filled up. So under 45 is what they're saying, which kind of goes to what we were talking about.
I could see that for sure. I mean, the Packers we're even on our point differential. I mean, we're the only team in the NFL with 0 point differential. There's teams that are better, there's teams that are worse, but we are middle of the line. And like I was telling you earlier, Clayton, we just kind of need to learn from our losses. We had a blowout, we had a tight loss, and then we had one that we just got kind of outplayed and we made mistakes. So as long as you can learn from those lumps that you took, I think the team will grow as a young team. I think it'll help them.
Yeah, definitely. Mike Hebring with the super chat. Thanks, buddy. He said to blow out the Broncos in Denver unlikely. They're 1-6 all time, and he's specifically talking about at Mile High. The all time stuff, Mike. Me personally, I don't put a whole lot of stock in that stuff because you're talking about different football teams, right? To say. All time as if, not that you're doing this and it is all information is important information. There's no doubt about it. But to suggest, okay, well, they're only 1-6 all time out there. All right. Well, if the 2014 Green Bay Packers fully healthy went to Denver, you telling me you're worried about the 1-6 all time? I wouldn't be, right. But a year like this year where these teams, I think they're a little bit closer as far as where they're at. I wouldn't say talent wise, but, just where they're at as a team and all that stuff matters as a team gels, as they start to create momentum, what's working, what isn't, or the coach is willing to adjust. That stuff matters in real time. There's no doubt about it. So I think, again, you look at Vegas, 1 point, 1.5 point. There's a reason they can afford to give out those free drinks with the pretty little umbrellas out there in the casinos, boys. I'm telling you, like they know what they're talking about. So it's going to be interesting, man. And Denver, me personally, again, thank you so much, Mike, for the super chat. And thank you for that stat, man. It's always good kind of looking at every angle for sure. It's one of my favorite places to watch a ball game as far as TV. The crowd's loud. Typically, you get cold weather. Won't be the case here. I think they're expecting like 75 degrees and sunny. But beautiful backdrop. All the TV camera shots when they go to commercial, you see the Rockies and everything. The Broncos are one of those teams that I have a lot of respect for. They seem to have a lot of tradition. I know Peyton's very involved out there. Peyton Manning, one of my favorite players all time. So pretty cool. Pretty cool to see those teams lock horns tomorrow for sure. All right, let's do this. There was a question in here I wanted to hit on real quick. I don't think I marked it. Hopefully I did. They were asking about our boy. There it is. Bang. Omer in the chat said, is Jenkins going to play? He did not practice Friday with that knee. That's not a good sign for sure. So with that being said, Omer, let's pull up the latest injury report here and kind of see what we're looking at. And then we've got a tweet that I need to get to as well around that. So let's see here. All right, injury report. This is the final injury report. We got, the designations for tomorrow's game, right? Jair Alexander, questionable. And the way it's described to me, guys, the way I've understood it, if you're probable, 75% chance you're going to play, questionable 50-50, and then doubtful, I believe, is somewhere around 25% is kind of the way I understand it. Now, you can take that with a grain of salt because we know these coaches are looking to get an edge any way they can, right? That's the way it works. But Jair Alexander, questionable. Zane Anderson, questionable. Devondre Campbell, doubtful. Okay, I think we could pretty much say not going to see Dre tomorrow, right? Elton Jenkins, questionable. Aaron Jones, questionable. Josh Nijman, questionable. Darnell Savage, questionable. Eric Stokes, questionable. Quay Walker, questionable, and Devontae Wyatt, questionable. I think every single player there, they're going to do like they normally do. They're going to go out there for the warm-up. If they can go, great. If not, they're going to have bodies ready to activate and be able to kind of fill those gaps. So if I had to put my money on it, I would say Elton's probably going to play. That's just – it kind of feels like that, right? Tim, I guess you agree. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I mean, it's, when you see a guy not practicing, your gut reaction is going to be, oh God, setback, something's wrong. But when I look at that chart, limited, and then a did not participate, are they just trying to, save him for Sunday, give him some extra time, right. Had him limited all week. Let's give him Friday off. We'll travel Saturday. Let's see how he feels Sunday. I'm with you, Clayton. I think more than likely he's going to play. I think pretty much everyone on that list is going to at least try and go. That's questionable. Jair would be the one that I'm really keeping my eye on because, if he plays, that could be very limited right there. Or, you know what I mean? Or he could start and then, we talked about him at practice the other day. He caught a pass, no pads, no helmet, caught a pass, and his day was over. So I don't know. I don't know what that means for Sunday. But, yeah, I mean, we're less than 24 hours away here. I don't know. I guess we'll know an hour before the game tomorrow, guys, what it's looking like. I'll tell you the truth. While we're on the subject, we were talking about, playing in Denver. I almost want, I don't know how much control they have over this, but, I almost would have liked to get out there earlier and let these guys acclimate to the altitude adjustment. I mean, they flew out today, I believe, a few hours ago. So they're probably, in Denver right now. Is that enough time to get yourself ready to go for a late kickoff tomorrow? I guess so. But I would think coming off the bye week with extra time, maybe they could have traveled a day earlier or something. But I don't know how that works.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
2-0 for this in the chat said, if we blow them out, are we officially better than the Chiefs since they play them kind of close? It's funny how that works, right? Like everybody kind of talks, and I know you're being sarcastic, 2-0 for this, but people talk in such definitives, right? That it just cracks me up. We lost to this team head-to-head, but they lost to a team that we beat earlier in the season. That means we're just as good as them. No, it goes back to the most boring thing you could say about pro football. Any given Sunday. It's just the way it is. That is the way it is. All right, let's see here. Let's do this. I've got a video. I'm going to go ahead and mute you guys real quick just to make sure, because like I said, that last time we played this, I'm going to mute myself as well when we start it. When we shared the screen with Twitter last time, the audio came through kind of light, so we're going to see if we can fix that right now. I'm going to go ahead and mute you guys. And we got a video that came from Packers.com. I thought this was really cool. Again, it's not about watching the video as much as it is listening to Wes Hodkiewicz and Mike Spofford, two of my favorite follows on Twitter, and they do an excellent job there with the Green Bay Packers and all the stuff they do right there at Lambeau Field. Actually ran into them when I was at Lambeau Field last year. Didn't say hi, but I was like, hey, there's Wes and Mike. They seem like two really good guys. absolutely love the fact that they're both Packer fans and they're just passionate about the Packers. I love that they don't bring hot takes, nothing like that. But this is called Final Thoughts, okay? This is a little segment they do right before the game every week. So I'm going to mute my mic and let's listen in real quick. I'll get your all's take.
Back from the bye and back on the road. We're off to Denver. Packers Broncos. It's time for Final Thoughts. All right, Weston, what's at stake?
Mike, the Green Bay Packers trying to start faster in the second half of the season. Now, obviously, back-to-back losses going into the bye week. An early one, but it allowed this team to get healthier. Now trying to set the tone, seeing if they can get things going in a different direction, and it starts in Denver.
Yeah, absolutely. And my thing here comes with a caveat. That is, if you get Aaron Jones back, if he's back, you have the offense that you're going to have. So then this game becomes about deciding who you're going to be on offense, what you're going to hang your hat on, what you are going to move forward with offensively. This game becomes extremely important in that regard. Wes, who's heating up? Presented by Aurora Heated Apparel.
Michael Rudy Ford has been heating up for the Green Bay Packers. Back-to-back games with interceptions, but it's not just that. It's also how impactful he's been against the run this season. I think Pro Football Focus had a stat where he's actually leading the NFL right now in run steps by safeties. He's been impressive. Finally got the opportunity this season, and he's making the most of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And my guy in this game is on the offensive side, and it's wide receiver Christian Watson. He missed the first 3 games of the season, was on a snap count for game number 4. We saw things open up a bit in game number 5. He had the 77-yard catch and run. Unfortunately, got caught from behind. But that's the biggest play the Packers have made all season on offense, and it's not a surprise. It was Christian Watson. Wes, I say very simply, the Packers win this game if they play clean football. And by that, I mean you reduce the penalties. You try as best you can to eliminate the negative plays, the tackles for loss, and the sacks that put you behind the chains. Those kinds of things are what have hampered the Packers and led to all of these ups and downs and inconsistencies. Play clean football, and I think the consistency will come with it.
Yeah, Mike, I agree. And I also think the biggest thing for the Packers in this game is running the football and running it well. You said it. We're going to have to see what happens here with Aaron Jones. But the Packers took some steps forward last game against the Las Vegas Raiders with A.J. Dillon and that rushing offense. And you need to get those yards against the Denver Broncos. We'll go into this game ranked dead last right now against the run and also giving up the most rushing yards per carry right now in the National Football League. Packers have to get it done on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, we will sign off on this edition of Final Thoughts. Be sure to follow all of our coverage of Sunday's game from the Mile High City on Packers.com and on all of your social media.
All right. So like I said, they do a great job. Make sure you guys go check out that tweet and give them a like for that as well. So first of all, some of the notes just taken from that video, Wes and Mike. Aaron Jones, big question mark, right? If Aaron Jones can go, it's going to be a whole different offense. We've talked about that. Giving a little bit of shine to my boy Rudy Ford. I'm telling you, man, he's playing lights out. He played great last year. For whatever reason, it's like this coaching staff doesn't want to give him the reins to be that go-to safety, and it just blows my mind, man. They got to figure that out, man. Get that guy a contract. Get him a 2 or 3 year deal. You won't even come close to breaking the bank and set that floor for the safety room. Christian Watson, we just pointed out, Tim, it's a bad pass defense, man. This might be a good kind of breakout game for Christian Watson. They're talking about reducing the penalties, reducing the mental mistakes, and, of course, just running the ball, establishing that run. What sticks out to you about that video there, man?
I mean, talking about Scoot, man, as much as I'd love to see the deep shots, man, I'd love to see him getting some of them unders, get him moving fast in space. Especially if they're going to play zone, which I'm assuming they're going to scheme some zone up. And I think if you get it to him in space and let him just get that yak, we're going to be in a great spot. I fully see Christian Watson having the potential to have a big game. We alluded to this a few days ago, too, on another pod about him not showing up on this injury report, an injury report he's been on since preseason. We've got multiple weeks now, not on the injury report at all. Hopefully the hamstring is healed. It's good. He's 100%. He was probably 95% against the Raiders, which is why he didn't break away and score on that touchdown. Probably he didn't have quite the afterburner juice because of the hammy. Hopefully he's got that tomorrow in Denver, and get it to him in space and let him create. That's really where, I mean, he can stretch the field. We know that, but I like seeing him on some of them underneath concepts and just getting it to him in space and letting him do his thing. So that stuck out to me. And of course, your comments about Wes and Mike, man, those are two top tier journalists right there working for the Packers. So salute to those guys. Nothing but respect. Saw them a couple of times during training camp as well. Real approachable, good dudes, fun to be around. And they really know this team too. So if you see it, you got to say it. And it's not just fluff, man. Those guys know this Packers team inside and out. So yeah, man, look for a big game from our receivers, hopefully this tomorrow in Denver.
Yeah. Same. Right. Amelia, what do you think, buddy?
And like Tim was saying, get the ball to Christian in space, maybe not as many behind the line of scrimmage. I'll take a bubble screen, but let's not throw them. I mean, like you were saying, jet sweeps, but under center. Let's not force him to start 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, make that up, and then get north and south. And a quick slant here and there. I know Jordan Love loves to throw deep ends and short outs, but can we get a couple of inside slants, curls, like spread them out, use Musgrave? Let's get a matchup or something. I know Matt knows how to do that. It's just, we just want him to stay on track. And like you were saying, 60% passing. So we do need to run just a little bit more. But
I think you got that number wrong, Amelia.
It was
65%. 65%.
See, that's on me.
I could hear Jacob screaming.
No, Jacob, wherever you're listening from, whoever you're snuggled up with tonight, this is what I say to that.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
All right, last time. I was going to try to pull something up real quick before we wrap up. One of the concepts that I would like to see kind of make a comeback here in this game. If I could find it, I don't know if I can do it or not, guys. Let me see here. Probably ain't going to work. Let me try it here. I'm going to try to pull up the playbook here real quick and show you guys a concept that I think could be very important for the players. One that they haven't dipped into here lately, to the best of my knowledge. And I've watched every play 3 times from every game this season. But with that being said, I may have missed a thing or two. So let's do this. Let me go ahead.
What wasn't Runyon saying? I'm pretty sure it was Runyon. He was saying that our offense is going to look a little bit more like Miami's now. And Matt LaFleur took a little bit of time with his computer screens and did some research and all that. So
I sure hope so, man. It was Paul Brettel actually brought it up in an article. And here's the thing I'll say about Paul Brettel. I don't want to put any words into his mouth, but Paul Brettel is very plugged in. Paul Brettel has mastered the art of listening, something that all of us should try to get a little bit better at, especially this knucklehead right here. When he goes out on a limb and points out that, Matt LaFleur talked about, taking the scout week, the bye week, the self-scout, and look around the league and see what's working, look no further than Miami. Yes, they got arguably they do have the best offense in the league, but also part of me went, Paul's heard something. Paul has heard something. So it's funny you brung that up too. But let's do this. I'm going to share this. I'm going to talk about the wrap concept real quick. Okay. You guys can see this, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. So the wrap concept it's a concept that Jordan Love absolutely loves. Okay. And it'll work against pretty much any kind of defense. Although when you run it against zone, it can really, really hamper a defense. So a wrap concept is very simple. Okay. I'm going to draw it up over here on the left side. A wrap concept is a 2-route combination where the inside receiver will run a curl and the outside receiver runs a dig across it. Okay. That's something that last year we used, I'm telling you, over and over and over. And it's so hard to defend because even if you're in man coverage, you've got to cover the sit and all that. The safety has to respect, right? The safety has to respect the shot play. So let's say Christian Watson is this Z receiver right here, right? This guy right here. Let's say he is a Z. And they are playing, let's say they're playing 2-man under, right? And this is just man coverage. And he's going to trail underneath, right? Well, he's looking to take the outside away. He's looking to take this away, right? So as you come up and you hit that break, you hit the top of the stem, this safety, up until this point right here, that safety has got to assume it's going to be a deep shot down the sideline. So he's really got to get out here to help cover that, right? if the routes run correctly and Romeo Doubs runs it as good as anyone on this Packers roster, then you're going to catch that break. That safety can't get back down inside. Now, if they're in zone defense, right, and let's say it's a cover 3 look, okay, and let's say these guys are sitting in a cloud defense, meaning let's say the corner is just going to kind of cover a short zone here, right? They're going to look to take that break, and this safety has to cover over the top. These are ending points, okay? Imagine these are the ending points of a cover 3 defense, right? This is where they're going to end up. This guy's going to sit on this curl. He's going to let him go after the 7-yard thresh mark and then probably try to bite down on the curl as well. And you're going to see all this space right here, right? And it's one of the things that Coach Haddad talked about when he came on the show. And again, he's an award-winning high school coach up there in the New England area. They're about 15 minutes from Foxborough. Him, his dad, and his brother have been coaching for a long time together. They won the USA Today Staff of the Year award, I believe, in the entire country. One of the things he talked about was anytime a team looks to play a quarters coverage or any kind of zone-heavy coverage, especially spot drop, the weak spot is the middle of the field. And the reason it's weak is because you can run a simple 2-man combination like that and free yourself up on those digs, right? We know Jordan Love loves to throw across the middle of the field. That's one concept that I haven't seen the last couple of weeks, and not that it hasn't been there, but for whatever reason, Christian has not kind of gone to it, if you will. So look for that this week. If you spot that on Sunday, tweet at me, all right? Tag me and say, hey, just seen that wrap concept, because it's real simple. You'll just see a curl out of the slot or even the Y if they're attached. They may even run kind of an angle sit, right, and then wrap on the backside with the dig. If that happens, don't be surprised, and if it does, tag me in a tweet. So,
right,
I think you'll see that reemerge this week. With that being said, let's wrap it up, guys. Let's go around the horn. Tim, parting thoughts, buddy.
Packers get the dub. The get right game is here. It's time. Be excited. Be happy. We're coming back to Lambeau with a victory. I'm not going to give a score prediction because I don't know. My gut tells me blowout, but my brain's telling me it's probably going to be closer than we'd like it to be. And I'm looking forward to Victory Monday, and of course the post-game show tomorrow following the game at Mile High or whatever. What's it called now? What's the name of it?
Is it still in Vesco Field? I can't remember what they called it.
I don't remember.
It's always Mile High Stadium.
It's called whoever pays the most money, Tim.
Yeah. There you go. So man, Dub City for the Pack. Looking forward to seeing Eric Stokes Jr. back out there on the field, even if it'll be limited. See what he can bring. Let the kids play, man. Get it going. Go Pack, go.
Yeah. It's funny.
Oh wait, I got to do this one time. Hold on. Yeah. Emilio. All right, dude.
Take it. Got it in. It's funny. Andrew Brandt told a story about when he first, got involved with the Packers. You guys know he was in the front office with the Packers for, I think, over a decade at least. But he said that one of the things he mentioned is, hey, have you guys thought about selling advertising rights, here at Lambeau? And he said that they shot him a look, everybody in that room, and the exact words that were told to him was, do you want to start a riot? Like this guy has no clue what this town is about right here. And of course, they ended up selling the advertising on the gates, which I think is very smart. But
that was a great compromise too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
for sure, it's perfect.
Yeah, no doubt. Emilio, what do you think, man? Parting thoughts?
Going back to that wrap, to let that happen, I mean, we got to spread it. Christian's got to get outside the numbers. I mean, you can run it nasty, but it's not as effective. And I think really the last time we saw him spread it out like that was when Aaron Jones was eating up Chicago, and like you were saying, you open up that middle because a backer's got to respect Jones in the backfield. He runs a Texas route, it's over. I just hope they spell him. Let's make sure he doesn't tweak his hammy when he goes out there pregame, and then just let him eat. He gets paid that money because he is literally the best offensive player that has been producing for us. So why not give him the ball? Keep the superstars on the field, let them play.
Definitely. Zane Strong in the chat said, "You thank God
never farted?"
I love we got a request line for all this. This is all
yeah. You got any of them left-handed footballs, Clay?
Yeah. My favorite though is I got some advice for you guys. Take 2 weeks off, then quit. I love it, dude. Absolutely love it. Let's finish up in the chat here. Of course, Carly Ray loved that. Let's see. We got 2-0 for this. Says, I don't see it as a must win, but 6 games out of 18 is a big statement if you don't show up. If you don't show you're up to par at least a couple times. Very well said. Omar in the chat said, flush that. We're winning 42-17. Break out the boat race. Appreciate the kind words there, Omar, as well. Boz in the chat says, go, Pack, go. Let's go get that dub. And again, Boz, thank you for the super chat, man. You were awesome. Drew in the chat says, the advertised gates are brilliant because they're identifying markers. Yeah, absolutely, man. It was a really, really good move for sure.
Mike got us.
What's that?
See, Mike, 28-17 Broncos, rush for 150 plus. I don't know, Mike. I hope not.
I'm gonna get to that here in a minute. You wait, Mike. I'm coming. Drew in the chat said, this is a big game for us, but honestly, people are putting too much emphasis on it, in my opinion. It won't define our season, win or lose. Yeah, I think it's going to get loud, though, Drew, if they don't get a dub, man. I think it'll get real loud. I agree with what you're saying, buddy, but maybe you're not on those Twitter streets like I am right now. I'm just telling you, it's going to get ugly. But I think we got a great shot to get the dub, and it's much like the guys on the video just said over there at Final Thoughts. You know what I mean? Is Aaron Jones going to be healthy? If he is, like you said, Emilio, if you come out and you didn't tweak that hammy, you get him to be a vital part of that offensive game plan. Christian Watson, get him involved there with this bad pass defense. Reduce the penalties, reduce the mental mistakes. Easier said than done, but that maybe this is the game they can finally do it. And just like you said, commit and running the ball is going to be huge. So let's get to Mike. Mike said in the chat, 28-17 Broncos rush for 150 plus. I'm writing it down, Mike, and I'll tell you why. Because if it happens, it's your fault. Now, you always make predictions, and I'm telling you, man, you have been right way more than you've been wrong. There's no doubt. So I'm going to put it down just so when we're all pissed off during the post-game show, we can flash it up on screen and say Mike Hebring spoke this into existence. So
one in a month, need something.
What's that?
They haven't won in a month. They're going to need something.
Exactly. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Omar in the chat says, I disagree. Absolute must win. They lose this game, there is no coming back this year. Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. Again, let's see. Carly Ray's now she's prodding a little bit, going, "What are you talking about? There's no coming back." I'll tell you this. I think the seat's going to get hot for Matt, and it's not fair. You guys have heard me say this. You know, he's doing the best he can with the roster that's created, right? Everybody knows he didn't want to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. That's pretty much common knowledge. That was a Goody move. Russ Ball wanted to keep him. Matt LaFleur wanted to keep him. Goody wanted him gone. And it sounds to me like Mark Murphy said, I agree with Goody. And now we'll see. I don't think any of that's defined on one season. But if you lose to arguably the worst team in the league, right, even if you're on the road, it's going to get loud. And again, I don't think it's fair to Matt. You guys know I've criticized Matt's run game, right? His game planning, his scheming for the run game. And again, I want to emphasize what I talked about at the opening. He's scheming receivers open. The passing game scheme is looking good, right? And for those who are somehow convinced themselves that this offensive line isn't giving Jordan Love enough time, I'm sorry, that's 100% inaccurate. You guys have seen me on Chalk Talk. How many times, Tim, have I counted it off, man? 4 seconds. Watch the clock. He had 4 seconds to get rid of the football. He's got time. All the data, all the analytics, all the statistics show that he is the least pressured quarterback. Actually, I was texting with Ryan Schlipp from Packernet Podcast earlier. I'm going to read it real quick because we were kind of looking at it here.
Getting too much time. We need to get the ball faster. We needed 2.5.
Exactly.
I was just going to say, regardless of protection, man, I mean, it should be under 3 seconds either way. You look at the greats in recent memory. You were talking about Brady's numbers a few days ago. And he was always, wasn't he like 2.8 seconds?
No, it was
average,
crazy.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So
it was sometimes he wouldn't complete the 3-step drop, was throwing off the back foot and getting it out. It was just he knew what he had to do.
I think if your pre-snap read is so good that your post-snap analysis and your post-snap progressions just come that much quicker. Yeah. You know,
absolutely. Well, we talk about the four things that are most important with a quarterback, in my opinion. And again, Greg Cosell leans towards this, not in this exact terminology, but pre-snap read, post-snap reaction, right? Accuracy and quick release. And the only thing that Jordan Love has proven to me that he's got to this point, it could change. It could change in the end of the season. He could have all 4, right? but that's what this season's about too, is trying to see what we have in Jordan Love. The only thing I've seen is a quick release. And when I say quick release, I'm talking about the actual mechanic of the quick release. The reason the ball isn't coming out isn't because he doesn't have a quick release. It's because he's not processing fast enough, right? And again, you see Matt LaFleur jumping up and down, screaming, throw the ball to Christian Watson down the sideline, right? We showed you over and over and over on Chalk Talk the lead T swing that's wide open. We've shown the check downs, the leaks, the Musgrave. Musgrave should have another 120 yards just in leak yardage if Jordan Love checks that ball down, right? But the thing that me and Ryan were looking at on SIS, just in dropbacks, we broke everything down in dropbacks across the entire National Football League. And again, PFF suggested a certain thing. Ryan pointed it out. I played the audio this last episode that Jordan Love is being protected more than anybody else in the league as far as quarterbacks. We went to SIS today, did a similar breakdown, and when we broke that down in dropbacks, okay, not attempts, but dropbacks. So this includes sacks and everything. Pressures on quarterback, according to SIS, the Packers are dead last at only 48 dropbacks that he received pressure on. That means he is being protected better than every other, according to SIS, better than every other quarterback in the National Football League. So we've got to take the training wheels off. And again, I know there's a lot of people that they want to defend Aaron. They want to defend Jordan. I want Jordan to be the next best thing, man. You see the guy's demeanor, you see his attitude, you see the way his teammates love him. He's very humble. You learn about his personal background and all the stuff he dealt with as a kid and all that. You want him to be the future of the Green Bay Packers. But if he's not playing up to that par and everything suggests, hey, he's what's missing right now, right? And again, the receiving play has improved from last year. You know, a lot of people were pointing out that they have the 10th most drops in the entire league this year. Last year, they had the most. They were tied for first. There was only one other team that had as many drops as them. So you got to take all that into consideration, and that's the goal this year, man. If you make the playoffs, great, but we got to make a decision and an evaluation. Is this the quarterback of the future? And let's hope it is, man. Let's really hope it is. So, all right, we're going to get out of here, guys. We're already over on time, as always. Surprise, surprise. But, man, it's always fun talking ball with you guys. Tim, thank you so much for hopping on here, dude. Emilio, this was fun, dude. Like I said, we want to throw you into the rotation, man. If these two guys get tired of me, then you're going to have to put up with me, all right? We'll slide you into the rotation and we'll give everybody a little bit of time off. But, again, just want to play this real quick for Jacob. Jacob, hope you're enjoying your date night, man.
Hi, I'm Date Mike. Nice to meet me. How do you like your eggs in the morning?
So it's Date Jake is what we're going to start calling.
Date Jake.
There it is. We got Prison Matt and we got Date Jake. We're throwing it together. But everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us in the chat. We really appreciate it. I want to give a special shout out to Mike Hebring. Thank you for the super chats, buddy. It's always good chatting football with you. We don't agree on a lot of things, Mike, but man, you always make me look at a different angle. And again, I've got that wrote down. This is your fault if it happens. All right.
Yeah.
Boz, thank you so much for the contribution, man, for the cheese sombrero. I'm going to make that happen. What if we did a victory sombrero or something like that? Whenever the Packers win, we break out the sombreros. We might have to do that. I've already got a foil cap for Jacob's Conspiracy Corner the next time we do that. But anyway, again, thank you guys so much for supporting the stream and the super chats. We really appreciate it. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go Pack Go.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Double tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man to his inside. Pull back and tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one shows. Go right by them and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, that's inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.